This presentation looks at realism to surrealism, and this timeline shows us where in art history these art movements occur. It also shows us two other art movements that are important. These are Expressionism and Social Realism. An art movement is a period in time in history when a group of artists worked in a particular style with a shared aim. This timeline is also helpful because it shows us how these art movements don't always happen one after the other. In fact, sometimes they can happen at the same time and in different parts of the world. Here we can see realism happened in France, and it overlaps with Expressionism in Germany, while social realism and surrealism happen almost completely at the same time, but in different parts of the world. This timeline covers about 100 years from 1840 till 1940 and also shows us what is happening in society at the time, namely the Industrial Revolution, World War I, Depression, and World War II. The Industrial Revolution began as early as the 1760s and continued into the 20th century. It saw large-scale industrial change with the invention of new machines like trains and the motor car, as well as factories and mass production. This brought social realities that were hard to swallow, such as child labour, poor working conditions, and a growing working class. Then, in 1914 till 1918 was World War I, a war that involved 32 different countries. It involved mechanicalized warfare such as tanks and machine guns and bombs that resulted in violence and death on a horrific scale, marking it the deadliest war in recorded history. In the 1930s was the Great Depression, starting in 1929 in America and then spreading to much of the world. The Depression affected the poor and the wealthy, and poverty increased overall with high unemployment. Finally, in 1939, World War I began. This caused the art movements we are looking at to largely come to an end.